In the early 1900s, millionaire heir J. Phipps made a romantic promise to his bride-to-be. He would build her an American estate worth leaving Europe for. Hi everyone, Ken here. Comment what you like most about each room as we go through, and without further ado, let's explore this house. In 1874, J. Phipps was born into one of the wealthiest families in America. He was the eldest son of Henry Phipps, a self-made steel tycoon who had been a close business partner of the legendary Andrew Carnegie. Henry Phipps' involvement in Carnegie Steel, later U.S. Steel, made him enormously wealthy, amassing a fortune by the turn of the century. As an heir to the Phipps family fortune, young Jay enjoyed a privileged upbringing full of lavish mansions and a top-notch education at Yale. But he was not merely a passive heir. He trained as a lawyer and developed into a shrewd financier and businessman in his own right. By the early 1900s, the Phipps family had relocated from Pittsburgh to New York City, seeking new opportunities and a higher social profile. J. Phipps embodied this era's elite lifestyle. He was social, sporty, and philanthropic, active in pursuits like polo and thoroughbred horse racing, and an integral part of Long Island's high society. He served as a director on corporate boards, including Hanover National Bank, U.S. Steel Corporation, and W.R. Grace & Co., leveraging both his inherited wealth and his own business acumen. In short, J. Phipps had both the means and the ambition to leave a mark on the world, and his stage was set on the North Shore of Long Island. In 1903, Jay's life took a romantic turn that would spark the creation of his greatest legacy. That year, he married Margarita Grace, the daughter of Anglo-Irish shipping magnate Michael P. Grace. Before marrying, Jay had promised his English bride that he would build her a splendid home in America to rival the stately estates of Britain. He intended his new mansion to ease her transition across the Atlantic by recreating the grandeur of her old home. Jay wasted no time fulfilling his vow. In 1901, even before the wedding, he had purchased a 160-acre former Quaker farm in the village of Old Westbury on Long Island. By 1903, the year of their marriage, work on the estate was underway. Jay enlisted a talented English artist and designer, George A. Crawley, to conceive the mansion and gardens that would transform the humble farmland into a palatial country retreat. Crawley, who had a background in art and history but no formal architectural training, approached the project with an imaginative eye for historical grandeur. To ensure the plans were structurally sound and executed to perfection, the American architect G. Atterbury joined the effort, preparing technical drawings and specifications based on Crawley's vision. After about 3 years of intense work, the mansion was ready in 1906 for their growing young family. They named it Westbury House after the local area, and true to his word, Jay had given his bride a piece of England on American soil, a house and garden as beautiful as those she left behind. The Phipps family moved in and began what would be over 50 years of residence at this magnificent estate. Westbury House would soon become renowned as one of Long Island's greatest estates of the Gilded Age, a symbol of transatlantic love and limitless wealth set in stone, brick, and blossom. Architecturally, Westbury House is a Carolean Revival masterpiece, a tribute to the opulent Charles II-era country houses of 17th century England. The mansion's exterior exudes a dignified grandeur. It was constructed of warm honey-colored limestone and Virginia red clay brick laid in an eye-catching diaper pattern. The roof, with multiple gables at slightly varying heights, is clad in mellow-toned stone tiles, evoking the look of an Old English manor. Surrounding the mansion, George Crawley also laid out magnificent gardens and grounds that have become just as famous as the house itself. By 1907, the estate grounds already featured a polo field, tennis courts, a rose garden, and a charming latticework pavilion amid the flower beds. The formal gardens were carefully planned as an homage to the great gardens of Europe, with terraces, alleys of trees, and carefully placed sculptures creating focal points in the landscape. The southern terrace of the house was raised to overlook a great lawn flanked by rows of dogwoods, lindens, and hemlocks, offering a breathtaking vista from the house. Beyond the formal gardens lay woodlands, ponds, and lawns that were meticulously landscaped. In essence, the entire estate became a living work of art, incorporating elements of French and English garden design, from geometric boxwood parterres to meandering paths through wildflowers. Inside, the house was designed to transport the Phipps family and their guests into a world of Edwardian splendor from the moment they stepped into the entrance hall. Here you would find a massive stone fireplace rising from the floor to the ceiling, and beyond a colonnade, the grand staircase ascending behind delicate fretwork. Taking the door to the side of the fireplace, we step into the red ballroom, where we can imagine men and women dancing across the polished parquet floors in the height of Edwardian fashion. To one end, we follow the parquet floors into Jay's study, clad floor to ceiling in stately paneling, and all set below one of the most elaborate plaster ceilings we have ever seen on this channel, with delicate depictions of flowers and leaves overlapping each other as if though we are looking at the garden upside down. Beyond this, we travel further into the house to find the dining room, clad in rich wood paneling and traced by the glistening golden hues of gilded details flowing all about the room. Had we traveled instead to the other end of the ballroom, we would have waltzed into the white drawing room, aptly named for its white Corinthian columns, millwork, and paneling. Turning the corner, we open the doors to Mrs. Phipps' study, with floor-to-ceiling built-in bookcases lining the rooms below a dome ceiling. Over the years, Westbury House did not remain static. The Phipps family expanded, and so did their home. Additions in 1911 and 1924 enlarged the mansion, seamlessly blending with the original style. Notably, celebrated architect Horace Trumbauer was involved in later alterations, likely overseeing one of these extensions. Despite these enhancements, the integrity of Crawley's original design remained intact. Westbury House stood as a harmonious whole, a magnificent Charles II-style mansion furnished with treasures and set amid world-class gardens. Life at Old Westbury was grand, but it was only one part of Jay's luxurious lifestyle. As a man of great means and varied interests, Jay maintained multiple homes to suit different seasons and hobbies. In addition to their Long Island country estate, the Phipps family kept an elegant residence in New York City and later developed significant properties in the sunny climates of Florida and the rural heartland of Virginia. One of Jay's most notable ventures was in Palm Beach, Florida, which rose in the 1910s and 1920s as a winter playground for America's wealthiest families. There, Jay commissioned famed architect Addison Meisner, the visionary behind Palm Beach's Mediterranean revival style, to design an extravagant winter residence for his family. The resulting mansion, which Jay playfully named Casa Bendita, became one of Palm Beach's largest and finest homes. Its showpiece was an indoor swimming pool and a column pavilion, complete with an arched gallery and diving tower, which made headlines even before the house was finished. It's worth noting that despite living lavishly, Jay Phipps managed to maintain and even grow his wealth. In fact, he engaged in real estate development as well. For instance, in West Palm Beach, he subdivided land into what became the upscale Elstead Historic District, developing luxury residential neighborhoods in the 1920s. Tragically, Margarita passed away in 1957, just shy of her 81st birthday, and Jay, who had been her devoted partner for over half a century, followed her the next year. Unlike many titans of the Gilded Age who flamed out or lost their fortunes, Jay Phipps left an estate that was still largely intact along with a family committed to preserving it. One of Jay's enduring legacies was the notion of responsible stewardship. He had managed to hold on to Westbury House and its acres of gardens long after many other Long Island mansions had been sold off or demolished due to financial pressures. Jay and Margarita's children had grown up with a deep love for their childhood home, and they were determined to save it from the fate that befell so many other estates. The torch passed most directly to their only daughter, Margaret, who had a keen interest in horticulture and history. The steps she took in the years following 1958 would ensure that her parents' life's work would not be lost to time. Instead of selling the land to developers or letting the mansion crumble, the heirs transformed Westbury House and its gardens into a museum for the public. In 1959, barely a year after Jay's death, Margaret and her brothers established a nonprofit foundation to open Old Westbury Gardens to visitors. It was one of the earliest instances of a Gold Coast mansion being preserved this way, and it set a precedent for saving America's Gilded Age heritage. Margaret, who moved into a modest home on the property, became the founding president of Old Westbury Gardens and guided it for decades, right up until her own passing in 2006. Thanks to her dedication, the estate was lovingly maintained in nearly its original state and surrounded by the beautifully kept gardens that had matured over half a century. In fact, the cinematic quality of Old Westbury Gardens has not gone unnoticed by Hollywood. The mansion and its grounds have served as the backdrop for numerous films and TV shows over the years, from classic movies like North by Northwest to more recent television shows like Gossip Girl and Pushing Daisies. In popular culture, Old Westbury Gardens has come to symbolize the romance and grandeur of the Gilded Age, proving that Jay Phipps' creation still captures imaginations well into the 21st century. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. What did you think about Old Westbury Gardens and Westbury House? Let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.